have set forward to do. It's such a pleasure to welcome all of you formally on our 25th anniversary on the occasion of this beautiful epic rhapsody conference, IKMC 2024. The conference name is An Epic Rhapsody and the Next Symphony. You know, epics, when they're made into short briefs, they're called rhapsodies. It's just not the exaltation which is a rhapsody. Small, short, précis of epics, the most important facets of epics are collected as rhapsodies. This is a time for celebration. We will be presenting you snapshot of IKP through our journey, through a short video that will take you through what we have done and how we have done what we have done. This time, unlike all other IKMCs, there are not any keynote speeches. We do not have panel discussions after panel discussions and scientific discourses. There's one distinguished lecture tomorrow, and I'll urge all of you to come. My most favorite, Professor Balram, will be talking on the science of it, and then we have two other speakers. All of you would love to hear that. But there are 3 roundtables as well, but the most important thing about IKMC this year is celebration. If we were to get into a lot of long speeches, probably we would have missed the kind of music we had just now, or what we would have in the evenings. So this year, it's about recognizing people. This year, it's about recognizing institutions. This year, it's about recognizing our extremely talented startups. The startup recognition will happen in the evening. All the booths that have been set up, the startup exposition, there's some jury who are looking at it. They will be awarded tomorrow. But today we will also talk about 25 people who shaped or deeply influenced IKP. But before I go into that, can we have the short presentation on IKP, please?
All progress begins with an idea, a seed of innovation, carried by the winds of ambition. 25 years ago, the seed took root in the soil of Hyderabad to nurture the future before it can be imagined. When the blueprint for India's first research and innovation park was drawn, it wasn't just about a physical space. It was about a space for dreams, for collaborations, for the birth of new paradigms. It was the year 1999.
Yes, it was the year 1999. India's vision for the new millennium was innovation-led. Then chairman of ICICI Bank, Mr. Narayanan Vagul, had the same vision. How to actually make sure that the research and development produced from the country is translated and we have an innovation ecosystem built for the country.
Balamanian wanted me to meet someone who was coming from United States. He was complaining about the lack of facilities in India for providing opportunities for Indian researchers who want to come over to India to do some original research. I discussed the matter with my friend Ashok Ganguly. We felt that The research in India was totally isolated from business. Then we went and met Ramesh Mashekar. We decided to take a long-term view and take a chance. That's how IKP was born.
Hyderabad became the center for setting up the new innovation hub. It was called the ICICI Knowledge Park and later termed IKP Knowledge Park. The visionary government of then Andhra Pradesh and now the Telangana government gave us 200 acres of land, the outskirts of Hyderabad. That was the genesis of IKP Knowledge Park and the Genome Valley of Hyderabad, the life science hub of India.
Companies like Medicop Technologies became the first settlers in this brave new world that was destined to become the crucible of transformative ideas. Innovation is a living thing. It demands nurturing, constant rethinking, and space to grow. And so IKP expanded physically and conceptually. More innovation corridors took shape. The International Knowledge Millennium Conference became a hallmark of knowledge exchange. The Garden of Life, with a plethora of medicinal plants, came up. The Life Sciences Incubator was started to foster an ecosystem where science and business could thrive together. And Laurus Labs became the first incubatee. Grand challenges, partnerships with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, USAID and DFID opened the IKP's ecosystem to global innovation. The park became a platform for co-creating solutions that would impact health, nutrition, and agriculture on a global scale. The vision expanded beyond Hyderabad. IKP Eden in Bangalore became a hub for rapid prototyping, extending IKP's reach into Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities, and empowering entrepreneurs in smaller towns to dream bigger, catalyzed by government partnerships such as K-Tech Innovation Hub.
We have established IKP Eden with a focus of supporting hardware products, people who make real products, who find it difficult to get these products out into the market. So we support across all domains. We have a manufacturing space where we can do prototyping and small volume manufacturing, an electronics lab, and overall an ecosystem that supports product development.
To feed the ever-growing population in the country and worldwide, we need novel food technologies that utilizes deep sciences and new methods of investigation. At IKP, we have created the Center for Smart Protein in Bangalore. We have created infrastructure facilities. We have created programs to support legal aspects and also regulatory aspects of such food innovation.
With the launch of Sustainability Innovation Center and Catalyst, IKP created more opportunities for startups to actualize their futuristic ideas.
This is the new era. From pharmaceutical, biotech, environment, agriculture, digital health, agri-tech, including tech transfer office, we can claim we have all the elements to fire the needs of the innovation ecosystem, not only in Hyderabad or Telangana, across India and potentially around the globe.
Many startups face regulatory hurdles due to misinformation or lack of proper guidance. They created IKP Global Regulatory Forum to support such startups where we have got actual regulators, experts, and ex-regulators guiding our startup.
IKP Knowledge Park has been empowering innovators through various partnerships and funding programs through the Life Science Incubator. Major programs like Biotechnology Ignition Grant, Amrut Grant Challenge, GenCare Program, Kavach, ICO Fund have brought various ideas into light.
I joined IKP Knowledge Park in 2019. Here, I expanded on the work that I was doing earlier to have an impact on the agri-innovations across India and brought in the concept of One Health with a focus on sustainable agriculture and overall planetary health. IKP is like family to me. We have an excellent team who collaborates ferociously to catalyze growth of the innovation ecosystem across India, with our eyes set towards a global impact.
IKP has today become a symbol of resilience, adaptability, and forward-thinking solutions, recognized globally for its contribution to furthering the horizons of science and technology and making tomorrow's world a healthier, smarter place. And IKP's people, scientists, entrepreneurs, visionaries, facilitators, came together, stay together, and continue to work together to co-create solutions for the world's most pressing problems. After 25 years of shaping the future, of moving the idea to implementation, from Hyderabad to the world, the story of IKP is still being written. With every discovery, every startup, every collaboration.
This is our story. This is your story too. All of you in this room, without exception, is part of IKP. It's a big family. And if we can all say, yes, we will do it, we do it. And, you know, I've always taken back to the early times when IKP was formed. Like what Balamanian told me, one of my mentors and a founding partner of IKP, Deepanita, you were sculpting fog. Yes, we were sculpting fog. And there, our founding chairman, the founding figure, Mr. Narayanan Vagul, was a solid support for all the things we did. We lost Mr. Vagul in May this year, so we do not have him with us. He was looking forward to the 25th year. But his life is a life of celebrations. So what I decided was I actually went to 4 people. Dr. Ashok Ganguly, then chairman of Hindustan Levers, Hindustan Unilever, Dr. Mashelkar, who is the DG CSIR, and Mr. Vagul mentioned about both of them, Kiran Majumdar Shaw, an ardent supporter of innovation ecosystem in IKP, and Dr. Nachiket Moore, without whom we couldn't have built what we have built today. So let's remember. So we have done a remembrance video with these remarkable 4 people talking of and remembering Mr. Narayanan Vagul. Can we have the video, please?
As we celebrate our 25 years, we would love to remember Mr. Narayanan Vagul, the founder of IKP Knowledge Park. At that time, it was called ICICI Knowledge Park. That was in 1999, 98, 99, when this was conceived. It took us 25 years to build what you are seeing now.
Mr. Vagul I came to know first because he was the first non full-time director of the Hindustan Liver Board. That's how we got to know each other. That Vago was an unusual mind. He was a banker by profession, but an innovator at heart. How do I bring innovation into banking? How do I bring knowledge in assessing proposals? He used to think differently. And Chandrababu Naidu, Bagu and I met him. He was excited about our idea that we'll set up a center for people who don't get space and money to do research. Where we'll have a place. And we got this fantastic place where the Knowledge Park is located. It is a fascinating achievement well before its time. I think somebody should write the history of the young Indian banker about Vago.
I've always talked about Mr. Vagul as my mentor. He was a visionary. He was someone who believed in disrupting any kind of economic model. The kind of conviction he had that India had to invest in innovation was what inspired me. He was such a wonderful thought leader, such a visionary. He was just such an amazing man, and a legend. I had a chance breakfast meeting with Mr. Vagul, and he asked me about how my company was doing, and I then basically shared with him my woes. I sought being able to access a term loan. Knowledge. He said, forget about loans. He said, I've got EDICI and I'd like to take an equity stake in your company. And he said, just send me your project report and consider it done. I mean, the kind of confidence he had in me and the sort of conviction he had that India had to invest in innovation was what inspired. I never looked back because I analyzed that he was really the person who was my savior, who was my mentor, and that was my inflection. And I will never forget that. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to pay a tribute to Mr. Babu.
Years is a long journey, and that's a moment to celebrate. IKP Knowledge Path is a great institution that was built by an institution named Vagul. I don't call him an individual, he was an institution. I mean, he has been our guru for you, for me, for all of us. So my mind goes back to the origin. I actually got to know Mr. Vagul in a very interesting set of circumstances. So he had come to NCL, we had some program. At that time, TDICI was already formed. That was India's first venture capital company. And there was a conversation. I had taken over as the director of NCL. And I was looking at what they were doing, as a matter of fact. And they were, of course, funding. But those were not companies which were maybe high technology, ahead of the curve, mainly followers and so on. So I remember making some comment on the stage. It is very interesting. That is what Narad Vagul was. He actually came to my room and discussed it further. What did you mean by that? So I explained to him. He didn't react, he didn't say anything. That was Saturday. On Monday, I get a letter from him. Come on the board of directors of TDICI. You can't make comments from outside. Come inside and sort of talk. That is where our partnership began.
My entire professional life has been under his mentorship, and I joined as a 22, 23-year-old, and now I've just crossed 60. So it's an amazing journey that I've had. And I tell you, with Mr. Bagul, one thing that was just so remarkable that I found. She had a real confidence. He was not somebody that said, I have this idea, he's thinking about more than it is. I think that was a multiplier. That's a remarkable, kind of trait to have. Yes, to support people unconditionally and to take joy in the fact of saying, this was not my idea, this was their idea. think that he should claim credit for is people like us, you and me, they are in the same basket.
We grew because of his support,
Right.
because of his mentorship, because he was there when things were not looking good. You know, he would be there as a rock.
You know, a deeper spiritual kind of an underpinning to his thinking, in which service to humanity, service to the larger cause, always took precedence. Of course, he recognized everything has to be sustainable. Otherwise, you won't be able to grow in that. He always, you know, whenever you spoke to him, you got a sense of what does this mean for humanity? What does this mean for people around us? What does it mean for the country?
Yeah.
And he always thought about ideas that would have, and IKP very much is a result of, you know, building something lovely, something nice, but impact.
That was Mr. Vagul. And that is why we have to, what Nachiket said, whatever, he had such conviction in all of us. He never said, this is my idea. He would always say, it's your idea, you have done it. So my request and my pledge to all of you, one is a request, the other is a pledge. The request is, feel extremely proud of what you have created. All of you are contributors to the growth of the country. Keep doing what you're doing. And the pledge is, sir, we will do whatever you have set forward to do. We thank you.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to MyStartupTV.
I had come under the mentorship of Dipanvita ma'am at IKP in 2009. And it had been 5 years of intense good mentorship that I received, which made me today what I am, leading the country's most important portfolio. And credit goes to you, ma'am. It's a very nostalgic moment for me. As I received this honor, I see that now I have completed 15 years of association with IKP. So initially, I had come under the mentorship of Dipanvita ma'am at IKP in 2009. And it had been 5 years of intense good mentorship that I received, which made me today what I am, leading the country's most important portfolio. And credit goes to you, ma'am. I joined, I think, in the NSTDB project, which Mr. Mittal just now said. And then BIREC project came, and then BRIC came, Biotech Research Innovation Council Center in IKP. So I've seen those growth, and after that also when I went to Bangalore Bioinnovation Center, I saw that how IKP has grown. It's a model for the country, I think. No other biotech park has come up to that extent, which IKP has achieved that feat. So thank you all for that. Thank you so much.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to MyStartupTV.
Mr. Mittal, we have made a surplus of about 30 odd crores out of that fund which you gave us. What do we do with that fund? Ultimately, after 2 years, our finance said that deposited in the Government of India account. I joined this journey in between. We had one of the first private sector incubators set up here at ICICI Knowledge Park. The small anecdote which I want to share with you is that once we were talking in my office in Delhi, and Dipanvita wanted to set up a fund. Funds were rarely established those days, and we gave her a small support of about 17 or 18 crores.
24 crores.
About 24 crores is what we gave her. And within 5 years, she came back once, and she called me, Mr. Mittal, we have made a surplus of about 30 odd crores out of that fund which you gave us. What do we do with that fund? I said, I don't know what do you do with that fund. So for about almost 1.5 years, the fund was lying with her because I wanted to use it for another program, and there was no solution like that. Ultimately, after 2 years, our finance said that deposited in the Government of India account, the Consolidated Fund of India account. The money was well used, but the only issue is that now government has become wiser. Now, out of these funds, we want our share back, and plus a little more. That's what IKP taught us after taking all those funds. All the best, Dipanvita.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to MyStartupTV.
And there's these words: startup, entrepreneur, innovation, and venture capital. I'd never heard of these. And I think most people, even those who tell you they've heard of them, they're probably telling you lies. But at the same time, this gentleman over here, Dr. Ravi Kumar, who set up a company called Exciton, he came to my lab. You need a product. HIV was important. Everything was being tested. And therefore, he wanted to make an HIV kit. And he said he would make a peptide-based HIV kit because that's the kit which is being made in America. But which peptides do you put in there? He had no idea. But then I think someone whispered in his ear, look at that paper and look at the first 2 peptides on table so-and-so. That's the one they're using. And so he came to me and said, can we make these peptides? This was what was innovation then. You know, it was just copying something, provided you had a little bit of information. And I know a lot of this still goes on. This conference, which actually marks 25 years of IKP, this is what I got. I got a title. She gave me the title. She said she'd like me to speak on the transformative power of scientific research. And I've just taken this extract from her email to me, and I've highlighted the words which I'd like to discuss: innovation, incubation, translation, innovators, and entrepreneurs. And it turned out that I probably had not heard any of these terms when Rakesh Mishra was a student at IISc. So one thing you will realize is that both Rakesh and I have aged considerably since then. Now, the slide itself is decorated on its corners by the pictures of people. I haven't put their names because I hope that some of them you will recognize, but I will tell you what their names are. There's Michael Faraday right up on the top left. There's C.V. Raman in the middle. There's Pasteur on the top right. And down below are 2 of our post-independence scientists, G.N. Ramachandran and Shambhunath Dey of Calcutta, all of them featured here. These are the scientists whose work very often I have read and whose work has always been completely inspirational. It actually transforms the way you think about science. May I have the next slide, please? What has science done which has led to technology, and how has that technology been useful to human beings? In his magnificent summary of human evolution over the course And I say evolutions, not biological evolution, it's really cultural evolution over the last 2,000 years. Jacob Bronowski, a mathematical physicist, many years ago in a BBC series in the 1970s, traced this evolutionary course. This, of course, is the evolution of science and the evolution of technology, which has actually led to the evolution of human cultures also. And in this he says at the end, and I will read, that series of inventions, and here I've underlined the word inventions, by which man from age to age has remade his environment is a different kind of evolution. It's not Darwinian evolution, it's not biological evolution. It's not biological but cultural. I call that brilliant sequence of cultural peaks the ascent of man. So here he will trace the beginnings of engineering, the beginnings of science, the beginnings of technology, and how it has brought us to the 20th century. And now, of course, we are a quarter of the way through the 21st century. But I want to take you back in time. This is 1939 now. And in 1939, this man, Abraham Flexner, who had a BA degree in the classics from Johns Hopkins University, he became famous in later years because the Carnegie Foundation asked him to write a report on medical research in America and medical education in America. His report, published in 1910, transformed the American medical university. It transformed American medical education. He was not a clinician himself. He was not a scientist. He was a classicist. And it is on the basis of the Flexner report that American medical education was reformed and research became a central part of the American medical curriculum. If all of you here, many of you I know are interested in startups in the area of biomedical research, you must remember that clinical research in America over the last 100 years has been of a scale which has been unmatched in India over the last 75 years. So this is something that one must really think about. But in 1939, Flexner had moved from medicine. He had been invited again by Princeton University to now set up its new Center of Advanced Study in the sciences. And the Center of Advanced Study was a philanthropic endeavor. And what Flexner did was, he set this up. It's the Institute of Advanced Study which became very famous in theoretical sciences because one of the first persons attracted to that institute was Albert Einstein. And once Albert Einstein came there, and of course, as people would later on say, Flexner had a little bit of help from Adolf Hitler, because Hitler wanted to drive out all the Jews from Germany, and then Einstein had to go somewhere. He went to Princeton. And once Einstein went there, Gödel followed. And then slowly, many other mathematicians went there, including our own very Harish Chandra, who went from the Indian Institute of Science to the Institute for Advanced Study in Princeton. And what Flexner, 9 years after he'd set up the institute, just as the Second World War was about to start and the world was changing, he wrote this wonderful talk, which is reproduced here in Harper's Magazine. It's called The Usefulness of Useless Knowledge. And as one who has practiced useless research for my entire career, I must stand before a lot of you who are practicing useful, applied, and economically important research. That research and science forms the basis for everything that is going to be useful in the future. He, in fact, recounts in this essay a conversation that he had with George Eastman. George Eastman was the man who founded Eastman Kodak. And Eastman asks him, they discuss what are the most important things in science at that time, what has come out. And Eastman said, the most important thing that has come out is Marconi's inventions on communication, the telephone and so on, radio, all of that. And of course, if you look at it, yes, the common person, what has impacted the most? It's electricity in the first years of the 20th century and its wireless communication in the last years of the 20th century. That's what's really impacted everybody, communication. Where did electricity come out? And Flexner explains to Eastman then, he says, you are giving Marconi too much credit. The credit must go to Clerk Maxwell, because Clerk Maxwell is the one who united electricity and magnetism in the first major unification in physics. We are still searching for the grand unification, which eluded physicists in the 20th century. But Maxwell's theory, out of Maxwell's unification of electricity and magnetism came light. And we immediately recognized the light is electromagnetic radiation. You can't have a more powerful insight than that. But who united electricity and magnetism? That was Michael Faraday. Faraday united electricity and magnetism in a very famous series of experiments that he demonstrated at the Royal Institution in London. A rotating magnetic field sets up an electric current in a coil close by, or a rotating electric field will now deflect a magnet. So there was a connection between electric and magnetic fields. In fact, when we talk about impact, Faraday had an enormous impact. Faraday also was responsible for a major invention in England, which most of you will not know about, and that was the invention of the one-way street. We are very common in Bangalore now. Every street is one way, so you never know where you're going. But in London, the very first street which became one way in the 19th century was the street in front of the Royal Institution. And the street in front of the Royal Institution was jammed because Victorian ladies in their long dresses would drive up to the entrance in their horse-drawn carriages, and they wouldn't walk very much. So after a while, the whole place was jammed with horse-drawn carriages. And the mayor of London then decreed that this street is one way. Why were they coming to the Royal Institution? They were coming to watch Michael Faraday do his experiments. And this is where Michael Faraday demonstrated combustion. This is where he demonstrated the connection between electricity and magnetism, which of course gave us electricity eventually. Science and engineering are really two sides of the same coin. We use many words: fundamental science, basic science, applied science, translational science, and so on. And now, since I've spent a lifetime moving in government circles, today I hear the word translational almost all the time. And you can see these cartoons. So to summarize what cartoonists think about all of this, and you can see when fire was first invented, it says it has heaps of apps. Today, of course, apps means something other than applications, but doesn't matter. I want to show you something that comes from the 12th class textbook. That's the global carbon cycle. If you look at nature as it is, animals and plants live in remarkable cohesion, a completely sustainable life. Animals breathe in the oxygen and breathe out the carbon dioxide. The plants, on the other hand, harvest the energy from the sun and produce oxygen. So there we are. We need energy for life. This is one thing you must remember. Biology rests on two words: information and energy. All of genomic technologies rely on information. The second most important thing for a living cell, or in fact I would say the most important thing for a living cell, is energy. Energy to do all the biosynthetic processes that are necessary for a cell to stay viable and a cell to stay alive. All of this is possible. This is possible, but that energy comes from the sun, which as far as we are concerned is an inexhaustible source of energy. We have to wait another 5 billion years before the sun dies out. But on our timescales, we cannot think of a sunless Earth. At that time, all life will come to an end. But what has happened really is science and technology, or what is called anthropogenic interventions, have now intervened. And what every one of our technologies does is it generates carbon dioxide. And then carbon dioxide levels go up, and therefore we have now interfered with nature's sustainability. The result of this is that curve up on top is the Keeling curve. Now, why do I put the Keeling curve here? It was produced by a geochemist, Charles Keeling, in the 1950s and 1960s because he was measuring carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. What was he interested in? He was interested in studying the equilibrium between calcium carbonate and lime and the dissolved bicarbonate in seawater. And he was measuring carbon dioxide levels in the atmosphere. He was interested in chemical equilibria. He realized then that over a period of time, carbon dioxide levels were going up. His funding was stopped. Eventually, he continued his measurements with his own money. And at some point or the other, when people realized it was important, the American government took over. And so we have the Keeling curve. Today, of course, the Keeling curve is responsible for more international conferences than any other measurement that has been made in chemistry, biology, or physics. And climate change is a result of the Keeling curve. But we knew, even in the early days, that carbon dioxide will in fact absorb and trap heat. This was known. This was known by Arrhenius. It was known even before Arrhenius. And this was actually written down in the literature. And this is why science is sometimes important. Science can drive geopolitics in a way that you cannot imagine. You can't imagine what will happen in the future. Today, for example, when the Union Cabinet approves the green hydrogen mission, something 14,000 crores or 23,000 crores or something, some big figure like this, you can ask, what is green hydrogen? It's going to come as a result of research. It's going to come as a result of new technologies. But will this green hydrogen really be green? Can you have a technology that does not produce carbon dioxide? How much carbon dioxide will be produced when you make all of this? This is something that one needs to analyze. You can't do this unless you understand the underlying science behind this. One thing you must remember, the Americans always have a very understandable phrase for, they're very practical people. They will say there's no such thing like a free lunch. And no political dispensation can in fact offer you a free lunch. Look at things which have come from science. Mendeleev and the periodic table. Today we are driven only by two things. We're driven by two elements. Carbon, which drives all of life and all of biology and all of the biomedicine that you think about, and silicon, which drives all the information technologies that are ruling our lives. And an understanding of this will actually tell you the breadth and scope and the transformative power that science has had over the 20th century. And for much of what has happened in the 20th century, we are in fact indebted to what has happened in the 19th century, in the 18th century, and the 17th century, and before. Where do all these elements that we are using come from? They only come from the stars. It doesn't take much to understand that every element that we use in every technology is mined from the earth. It was the earth's inheritance when it was born. We do not generate the elements here. Unless we recycle them, there will be a time when the elements will run out. The elements for high technology will run out. The elements for all the technologies that you use on a day-to-day basis will also run out at some time in the future. It is that future that you think of when you plan to completely transform the world using science. Translational research, everybody knows. This phrase, bench to bedside, is my favorite. I would prefer bedside to bench to bedside. And I think that is what is done when you have a collaboration of clinical scientists with basic scientists. And that's absolutely necessary. You know, there are things like, what problem are we going to solve with all this research is something that we must think about. The cartoonists usually think of everything before you've thought of them. And therefore, it's very useful in Google, if you're going to search for something, always add cartoon after that and read what the cartoonists have had to say. This is the historical timeline of biochemistry. I was introduced as a biochemist. I was not a biochemist to begin with. The Department of Biochemistry, the oldest biochemistry department at IISc, never recognized me as a biochemist. But fortunately for me, Wikipedia did, so everybody uses that. I've divided from 1875 onwards, that's about 150 years, 25-year intervals, the evolution of biochemistry. And this is the historical timeline. For the first 50 years, we had the microbe hunters, the connection between microorganisms and disease. Pasteur, Koch, a very romantic phase of biological research. Between 1925 and 1950, it was all nutritional biochemistry. That was when all the vitamins were discovered. And this was because nutritional deficiencies as a cause of disease, not infection, was recognized. Between 1950 and 1975, it was realized that the vitamins were necessary, but nobody knew what they were doing. And therefore, you had to find the enzymes, because the vitamins all turned out to be coenzymes. That was the decades of the enzyme hunters. Wonderfully summarized in Arthur Kornberg's autobiography. Between 1975 and 2000, 25 years which I saw, everybody was hunting genes. Ever since Boyer and Cohen cloned the first gene for insulin, it turned out that everyone was hunting genes. Genes for disease, genes for everything. Now, biochemistry suddenly became molecular biology, and then, of course, I became a biochemist. But after 2000, I put a question mark. And all of you who have been around, I hope, or many of you have been around, some of you have been around for much shorter than some of the others, but Rakesh and I have certainly seen all the 25 years. The question is, what would you write there? And I leave it to you. If you have any suggestions for me, then please let me know, and I will add it to my slide. Now, the words which puzzled me in Dipanvita's letter of invitation, I've already told you. I'd never heard of them. And I wanted to know, when did I heard of them? They were words as yet unknown to me in 1994. And I think IKP came somewhat later. And there's these words: startup, entrepreneur, innovation, and venture capital. I'd never heard of these. And I think most people, even those who tell you they've heard of them, they're probably telling you lies. But at the same time, this gentleman over here, Dr. Ravi Kumar, who set up a company called Exciton, he came to my lab. He was an old student of the biochemistry department, and he was interested. He wanted to make money, and he wanted to sell something. You need a product. HIV was important. Everything was being tested. And therefore, he wanted to make an HIV kit. And he said he would make a peptide-based HIV kit, because that's the kit which is being made in America. But which peptides do you put in there? He had no idea. But then I think someone whispered in his ear, look at that paper and look at the first two peptides on table so-and-so. That's the one they're using. And so he came to me and said, can we make these peptides? This was what was innovation then. You know, it was just copying something, provided you had a little bit of information. And I know a lot of this still goes on. But, so we made the peptides, and Ravi Kumar did all the rest. He coated ELISA plates with them and standardized things. He was a clinician, trained as a clinician. Therefore, he had the help to get all the tests done. Then, of course, we ran into the regulatory problems. Then it turned out that
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dr. Roshan Naik, and I'm the founder of Digo Prioritic. And I'm very glad to be here at the 25th anniversary of IKP Park. And today I will introduce to you our mastitis detection product. First, we have the mastitis detection product, which has greater accuracy than a California mastitis test, and it is easy to use, easy to store. And subsequently, we have the PASS diagnostic kit, where we have this dropper here and ready-made reagents, where we can use to identify the right targeted treatment.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to My Startup TV.
Hi, myself Dr. Das. I am from 30M Genomics. So our company is completely into DNA testing. We will do the DNA test, we will analyze your DNA, and we will tell what kind of diseases you may get in future, and if you are getting a disease, what kind of drugs you can take and at what dosage you can take. And the best part is this complete DNA test, you can get it in just 500 rupees. So that's the best part. We have developed the complete technology to do it in a very affordable rate, and you can get the results also within 3 hours. So for that we have developed technologies, and for developing this technology we are supported by a BIRAC through IKP. We got the grants and fundings through BIRAC and IKP. So IKP was very much supportive in that, to scrutinize and get the funds done on time, so that we were able to get the prototype quickly. So, and if you are interested to start a startup company, so I would suggest start it very early, and there is a lot of funding opportunities are there. So finance is not at all a constraint to start a company. So BIRAC is there, and incubation centers like IKP is there to support you. So that's my sincere advice to all the youngsters out there. So never ever think about finance and stop your dream of starting a company. So there is enough financial support is there. So please go ahead and start your company. Thank you.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to My Startup TV.
I'm Dr. Satish Kumar, working as application scientist in VFL Sciences Private Limited. Our company is located in Chennai. It's a 1-year-old company. So our main company vision is that we stand for voice for local. That means today most of the scientific equipments are imported from the various countries. Even though we are a well-developed country, but we are depending on other countries to bring the scientific equipments. So in our managing director intention is to bring all the standard techniques to India that has to develop by Indian itself. So in that vision only we have started. All our products are Indian manufacturing in India. So if you take here, we have launched many products, all which are manufactured in Chennai. And also our vision is that to bring all the technology which is equivalent to the high standard products. Today in this event we launched our parallel bioreactor. Today we launched this product. We are happy to be a part of this session, and also we are thanks to the organizer for giving this wonderful opportunity to make this our product launch today. And also for youngsters, those who want to start the business here, always I would say that we need to make a proper planning and strategy. We know without taking any risk we can't make our life better. So I would suggest that sometimes we need to take a risk for our better life. Thank you.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to My Startup TV.
Hello, my name is Harkesh Mittal. I used to work with the Department of Science and Technology, and I was invited to the ICICI Knowledge Park annual event, IKMC. And it has been a pleasure to be here. And in fact, I vividly recall the early days when the ICICI Knowledge Park was established. It was that time during with very initial stages, the ecosystem was just building up, and something like to establish IKP itself was a great challenge, which a lot of luminaries in this area who came together and made it possible to give us the park in the present shape what it is. It has been a very interesting journey, and IKP is a jewel in the total crown of the startup ecosystem in the country, and it is amazing journey which is emerged. And at this event, it was great to see the hard work which was put in by the IKP team, the entire set of organizers, and those visionaries who had conceived this idea. I must particularly congratulate Ms. Dipanvita Chattopadhyay, the mover and shaper of this entire movement. I call her that glue which kept everybody together from the beginning till the end. And these efforts of the entire IKP team have actually made it possible to what stage we are today. Thank you very much.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to My Startup TV.
Hi, we are here with Jogendra Tanikalla, who is the CEO of T-Works. So he's gonna speak us about the IKP event. Let's get to know. Hi sir, how are you?
Hi Ninita, thanks for the opportunity. Actually, I'm CEO T-Works, Government of Telangana. We are India's largest prototyping center and also manufacturing knowledge partner. So I'm excited to be here at this IKP event, especially because I just went through the startup showcase, and it's very nice to see the startups being supported by IKP and IKP Eden, where they are helping them to take the medical innovations and biological technology innovations to the market. As it is, IKP is quite legendary that it has been around for such a long time and done very impactful work. So I wish them all the best.
Sir, as a CEO of T-Works, what unique things we get to see in T-Works?
So basically we are about manufacturing. So any physical object that you look at, for example, even this mic or this board, anything physical is part of our scope. So we are interested to promote manufacturing for MSMEs, and if you are looking to set up a small industry or cottage industry or factory, we are ready to help you to get started. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to My Startup TV.
I'm Mrinal Jayawant. I am representing United States Pharmacopoeia India Private Limited organization, which resides in IKP Knowledge Park. I'm Vice President R&D, and today I am here to attend a panel discussion in the afternoon. IKP has been a big promoter of startup companies, and we have always supported them to start their incubation projects within IKP campus. So I am here to launch ESP IKP collaborative initiative called She Leads in Science. And this is a collaborative initiative that was conceptualized to address the unrepresentation of women leaders in pharma companies. By creating a platform that fosters diversity, promotes innovation, and supports professional growth. So we will be hearing more about this initiative later in the afternoon. So thank you very much.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to My Startup TV.
Hi, this is Dr. Ravi Kiran. I'm the managing director of a company called MedFplus. And we are here at IKMC celebrating 25 years of IKP's establishment, and IKP has been wonderful. They have been our BIG partners, they have been our Juncare partners, and the support we have received has made this product launch internationally as well. Thank you IKP for that. And then our product is it's a advanced eye imaging device which diagnoses advanced eye diseases in a very short period of time and anywhere. The accessibility issue has been resolved, and we have one suggestion I have for startups is to go out and then keep selling, keep getting feedbacks from the end users, and that's going to help a lot. Thank you very much.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to My Startup TV.
So, hi, myself Sandeep, Senior R&D Manager, Sri Gurave Life Sciences. We are a company
working on cancer care products. When I mention cancer care products, it is for diagnostic, it is for treatment, and it is for management. In one of the products which we are working on is breast localization marker. Here we can see a breast biopsy marker is a localization marker which is placed in a breast after removal of tissue. This is used for localization of breast. It can be used for lumpectomy or removal of a lesion, and it can be also used in lung nodules.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to My Startup TV.
Hello, I'm Shreya Nair, co-founder of Bella Innovations, and as of now in the current scenario, women are shy and embarrassed to go for getting their breast checked, mostly because of the taboo associated with it. You have to remove your clothes and sit there naked, which is majorly the reason why women don't go. Apart from this, even in the medical scenario, if you go for a mammography, it's often very painful and it exposes you to x-rays, which are not really good for you. So you can't go through it regularly. And for women that have undergone lumpectomy and already have diagnosed a lump, it is very hard for them to actually keep track of whatever is going on after that, because doctors recommend you to keep track of your breast afterwards to check for any sort of recurrence. So to combat these issues, we are coming up with NiBra, which is a set of smart pads that you can slip under any bra and any garment and convert it into a smart breast health monitoring system. And what we do with this is understand your breast based on your standards and give you an alert on your phone if there's an onset of anything that is abnormal from your standard. And this comes with the Ovula app as well. So everything is embarrassment free at home for your comfort only, and you can use it whenever you want, and based on this you can go for a mammography only when you absolutely need it. Thank you.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to My Startup TV.
Hello, my name is S.K. Dash, and I just happened to attend the distinguished lectures. What struck me was Professor Ullas's lecture was fantastic. It brought in a lot of dimensions which were not heretofore known to me, and I was pretty influenced by it, and I think I should take up more of nutrition as a choice, because ultimately it seems that that is the denominator to prevent disease, aging, and other related illnesses. I think I'll be catching up with Professor Ullas soon and trying to work some collaborative model by which we can find out that how do we use plant resources or extracts to influence metabolic and aging. Thank you.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to My Startup TV.
Hi, I'm Suru Tujani, the founder of the company called Startup Tumukuru. So we're a young community of entrepreneurs in the city of Tumukuru. It's about 70 kilometers from Bangalore. We're trying to build a beyond Bangalore tech cluster in Tumukuru where we support startups of different segments. We are currently working with startups on software development, defense and IoT, electrical batteries, space tech, and sports infrastructure, and a lot more. So we are a one-stop solution for building sustainable startups. So a lot of startups tend to chase unicorns, but we are trying to build startups that are sustainable and then they can expand exponentially. I'm very happy to be a part of IKMC 2024. IKP has been a great place to work on. In fact, previously I was working with IKP Knowledge Park, and just about 25 days I've started something on my own called Startup Tumukuru. So IKP is a great community for all young entrepreneurs like me and a lot more. And for anybody who's looking to start up, I think it's a great space to be in. And entrepreneurship requires a lot of guts and a lot of your time. You'll be working 24/7. So if you are somebody who's ready for it, I think you should go for it. Thanks a lot.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to My Startup TV.
Yeah, hi, I'm Vivek, co-founder of Ipsita Innovations. We are working on teleoperated robotic ultrasound system in order to provide safe and secure sonography solutions to inaccessible regions. So our motto is to make ultrasound accessible to last citizen of the country. So there will be a robotic system which is in any rural town or a village at the patient side. Radiologist can take the teleconnection, remote connection to the robotic system, and then he can perform the ultrasound scans. Patients need not to travel long distances to get the scans done, especially for pregnant women. Maternal health will be highly impacted if no ultrasound scan is done in the pregnancy cycle. And even in case of early stage cancers, tumors and mass in the body, ultrasound is a basic diagnostic tool wherein 80% of these cancer cases can be treated with ultrasound. So we are covering almost 66% of the country's population with the teleoperated system where there is no access. Even we are planning to serve to the international market wherein low and middle income countries who are not having access to basic medical facilities such as basic diagnostic tool of ultrasound. That's where we are. We will be in the market in the next 6 to 8 months. Thank you.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to My Startup TV.
Hi, I'm Kalpana, and I manage the technology business incubator InSense at the Center for Nanoscience and Engineering in the Indian Institute of Science. We are an incubator focused on deep science in the area of nanotechnology and semiconductor. So we encourage startups in this space to come and incubate in our program. Thank you.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to My Startup TV.
Hi, good morning everyone. My name is Govardhan. I am from AMD technical team. We are today at the India Joy event where we explore with the entertainment, VFX, gaming. As you can see, we are at our AMD booth. We are actually showcasing our top of the line pro graphics cards and Threadripper systems. Threadripper is a more capable CPU which actually packs up the 96 cores into one CPU, gives a better performance, and when we combine with the AMD professional graphics card like something like a 7800, it actually gives us much more capability to develop the games and render it better properly. Yeah. Thank you guys.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to My Startup TV.
Hi, I'm Tarun from Firebolt Entertainment. We are here at India Joy today displaying our work that we do with digital doubles and motion capture. There's been a very big turnout here today. A lot of students, a lot of industry experts coming, checking out everything. It's a great avenue to learn about VFX. It's a great event. You guys should all come and check it out.
To stay informed about the startup ecosystem, subscribe to My Startup TV.
Thank you so very much, Vijay, for that such a loud welcome. And I believe after food, it's very difficult to keep people awake, because I was asking Vijay and his team, do we have some music, Natu Natu Ho Jaye Kuch To? So we will have that as well for you. But thank you very much, Dr. Suresh, for explaining about the ISBA journey and how the team has been working collaboratively. And I would like to thank the entire people who are here, who have traveled miles and miles and taken that effort and pain to be here with all of us. So a big, big round of applause, जोरदार तालियां, धमाकेदार तालियां, और तालियों की आवाज ऊपर आसमान तक जानी चाहिए. Thank you. So I am seriously overwhelmed with the kind of experience and expertise who was seated in this room. And छोटा मुंह बड़ी बात होगी कि हम आपके लिए क्या सेशन करें. We are here to learn from each other. We are here to collaborate. And thank you for this opportunity that we have got, T-Hub and the entire team, for hosting us today and helping us with all the preparation. So this is the power of ISBA that we have been seeing for last several years, and more power to ISBA. और this journey has to continue. पता नहीं जब तक सूरज चांद रहेगा तब तक ISBA कौन रहेगा, right? So this is going to continue. First and the foremost, I would like to ask you a simple question. I would like to walk around and then I can have a discussion, because I don't feel like standing here and talking, because I want to have the connect, the face-to-face connect. So I'll be coming close to you. Please be prepared. I'm going to make you uncomfortable as well. So don't worry. So imagine if you're going to get some superpower. अगर आपके पास कुछ ऐसी शक्तियां, some superpower is going to be given to you all, what are you going to do with that power? You cannot use this for yourself, and if someone is answering one power I'm going to use for this, the other person cannot use the same power, because we come from the startup ecosystem. No cheating allowed, no copying allowed. You have to be unique. You have to come up with your unique thoughts. So who wants to start first? कुछ खूबसूरत लोग मुझे दिख रहे हैं. सर, आप बहुत स्माइल कर रहे हैं, आपकी स्माइल काफी अच्छी है.
That's the simplest one. I would love to be Mr. India, the invisible one.
Okay. Yeah. So
Yes,
I would
sir.
like to make India a superpower.
You would like to make India superpower. Okay, great. What about this side? Why this side is so quiet? My right side, people? Yes. आपके पास सुपर शक्तियां हैं. You are the Superman. What you want to change? Yes. Sir has raised his hand. Yes, sir.
मैं तो वो श्लोक के लिए बोलूँगा, सर्वेत्र सुखिनः सन्तु सर्वे सन्तु निरामया. दुनिया में वसुदेव कुटुंबकम का, दुनिया में सबका अच्छा हो, ये ब्लेसिंग.
मैम,
Very nice thought, very noble thought. Yes, sir.
अगर मेरे पास हुआ तो मैं ये कहूँगा कि अपनी दिक्कतें, कमजोरियाँ सामने लाके रखो ताकि उसे सुधारा जा सके.
So you want to work on your inabilities? आप अपनी दिक्कतें सामने लाएंगे या सारे लोग? So you want to okay, बहुत अच्छे ख्याल है.
Can I?
Yes, yes. जी.
Yeah.
जी sir.
So basically, our education system has closed the minds of all the students.
Uh-huh.
And
So
if
you mean
I
to say
get
the
such
quality is
superpower,
not there?
I would just love to open up their minds. They should
You want
try
to
new
open
things.
up their minds.
They should be not afraid
Beautiful
of risks.
thought.
And I think that will be one good thing to do. You open up their minds. Their
Lovely.
minds are all closed.
Lovely. I see a beautiful lady sitting on this side. Okay, I'm coming. Don't get scared. Yes, ma'am.
I don't know, I may be the cheesiest, but I like Shah Rukh Khan. So maybe, I don't know, I just want to be there with that I'll use the superpower for.
So you want to be with Shah Rukh Khan? Oh, wow.
May
किसी चीज को बड़ी शिद्दत से चाहो तो सारी कायनात उसे लाने में लग जाती है. वेरी वेरी ब्यूटीफुल. आई विश मैं आपके लिए शाहरुख खान को लेके आती. कोई है यहाँ? काका किरण कोई है? शाहरुख?
Not exactly that Kiran, but yeah, I'm a Kiran and I have a mic, so.
लो मिल गए.
Sure. Excuse me.
Yes.
Ma'am.
Yes. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Can I?
Yeah, please.
Here.
Oh, sorry.
Piche. Yeah. I'm not sure how many of the people here would appreciate the answer, but if I have the superpower to do anything, I would probably reduce or ideally make it zero, nullify the importance and influence of money.
Great. Influence of money. Matlab you want to erase money completely, eradicate that completely.
Completely.
फिर
Well,
हम किसके लिए लड़ेंगे?
people should not have another motivation to help than just to help, in my opinion.
Wonderful. Shahid, you have something to add?
Yeah, Gladys, thanks, and foremost, thanks for calling us here and inviting to be a part of the iconic ISBACon 2024. And the way Gladys is, she involves everybody in the session. I've seen her sessions before. So, I would see that, if everybody is here for a cause and incubation, I would love to have a power of understanding how to evaluate a startup which is going to be a success tomorrow. So if that power is given to me, I think, we all would want to have that power. No, that's something which really incubation should have. And I don't know how and when and how could we do that, but I'm sure the technology is evolving and we might tomorrow have a power of understanding and evaluating it in the right way. Thanks so much, Gladys.
Beautifully said, Shahid. Thank you so very much for such a terrific answer.
Over here, ma'am. I'm the newest member of ISBA. I've just joined.
The newbie we have.
Yes, the newbie and the young energy. So I always wanted to, give options to women. More options to women who can do something with their
More
lives.
power to women.
Yeah,
yes.
more power to women and more options to women, which they can do with their lives. So that power actually I've got recently because I'm the new CEO of SNDT Vice, where we have 70,000 women. It's the only women university of India.
Wow.
And recently I'm the new CEO and I have got the power to actually change the lives of women of India, nationally as well as internationally. And I would love that everyone supports me nationally. And, this whole thing has to be like a one energy for India so that we can represent internationally too.
Lovely. Yes, sir.
Thank you so much.
So कोई और जिसके मन में तूफान उठ रहा है कि मुझे बोलना है लेकिन अंदर से संकोच है कि क्या मैं बोलूं? Yes, I saw somebody. Yes.
Well, such a nice question, and I think I feel that if you had a superpower, does not really translate, because for me, I feel like there is the superpower which exists when you're part of such an ecosystem which is so inclusive, and you have everybody who is talking about collaboration, who's not just talking about it but also doing it. And like Vijay mentioned, collaboration is the new competition. That kind of really resonates well. And I'm right now heading the incubator SPTBI as part of the Bharati Vidya Bhavans in Mumbai, and I'm looking at amazing work being done in the startup ecosystem, and very happy to be part of this community and doing my part.
Very warm welcome to this.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, if I were to have that superpower, first and foremost is I think everyone should be literate enough to understand the nature and so that they can be self on their own.
Thank you. Thank you so very much. And one more question I'm going to shoot to each one of you. Do you really need some superpowers to do good to the humankind or to the world? Or do you already have such powers in your hand? क्या आप में वो ताकत है? Yes, no, maybe?
I think everyone has one power, that is power to change. Anything or small thing, anyone can change. So we just have to implement on that power to change.
Right. So in this room, you can see the power. Can you feel the power in this room? Yes. Can we hear the power? Yes. Absolutely. So I am really, really happy that the kind of response that we have got. And I know that you all belong to one or the other incubators. We were expecting incubation managers, but I'm happy to see that the expertise and the people who are here. So we would like to ask you, what do you think we can do to improve our startup ecosystem? What are the qualities that we can bring in that will help this startup ecosystem? How we can be, we start comparing with Y Combinator, that's the number one. That is one among the number one. But why can't our incubation center, why we can't have such kind of powerful institution here? Don't you think we have the courage? We all have. But who is going to change this? We. Okay, so anyone, you must have gone through Y Combinator style. How is their training pattern? What exactly they do? What is the standard that they have set for? What are the standards that has been set for Y Combinator for selecting the startups and supporting the ecosystem? Anyone? Yeah. Okay. क्या Y Combinator का नाम सुना है? क्या है ये? एक्सेलरेटर है, इनक्यूबेटर है? कौन सी भाषा में आप लोग समझते? इंग्लिश, हिंदी, मलयालम, तमिल, तेलुगु, गुजराती, मराठी, बिकॉज पूरा भारत आज यहाँ पर है, राइट? एक मिनी भारत यहाँ पर है. Yes. Okay. Let's keep Y Combinator aside.
Hi Gladys. This side, back side.
Sorry, मेरी दूर की नजर.
No, I got it. It's okay. So
yes.
Coming to that Y Combinator part, Like coming to a question rather,
Yes,
which you asked
okay.
that, what are the things which perhaps Y
So
Combinator...
what are the standards? I mean, like what set them apart from the rest of the world? Why people talk about Y Combinator ke startups, they have reached to that level? I mean, like why? Kyun?
No, of course, like it has been, in their case, over 15 years of
Mhm.
now legacy. Earlier wasn't a legacy for sure. But I see, based on my experience, because I had kind of cleared 2 rounds of interview when I was a founder with YC.
Okay.
So what
you have
I
applied
felt,
there?
yeah, so
Okay.
I got a reply and I got a chance to have interaction with their people as well.
How
so
was the grilling process, I would ask?
No, the process was actually very exhaustive in the sense that
Very
they had
exhausting.
asked, they
Yeah,
had asked,
absolutely.
like, they had asked subjective questions, and that was like tons of questions.
Tons of
and I was
questions.
supposed to write and not like go and write. So all the questions were very introspective.
Okay.
So I could feel that they somehow want to do the filtering process and understand the founder's grit and the founder's philosophy more than anything else, because of course 80% of their startups are the startups are at idea stage level itself, like
Yep.
the other 20% of the startup.
Yeah.
So I think that
You can continue.
the
I'll just
founders-
go and change the slides. Yeah. Yes. So they do have a 45 minutes of filtering session, a discussion, a deep dive discussion happens with the people who have applied. I need the slider. Yeah. So we are here to talk about the quality standard which is being set by Y Combinator. Anyways, that is there. The application, the amount of application that they receive is in thousands. Do you think everybody can get through there? No. So that's why there is a standard in place. Do we have a standard in our incubation center? Do you guys have a pre-elimination round, I mean like a selection process to check the quality of startups? We do have, right? So how are we selecting the startups to check the quality? I mean like what exactly you all check?
From Indian Agricultural Research Institute. So we are checking whether it is technically feasible to make that kind of a product or the business viability also, and then we check the IP and other stuff. So 3-level checking that we do for scrutinization, and then after 2-way filtering again, like we are also getting applications in thousands, and we are taking 40-45 startups out of that. So rigorous checking. Yeah. No, in a year. For a specific program, yeah.
We place a large stress on the team and the problem they are solving, and how good they are technically at it. We don't care whether the product is going to succeed or not, as long as the team knows what they're doing.
Great points. Thank you so very much. So team plays a bigger role. If there is a founder, co-founder, you should know who exactly is part of that entire team, whether they are going to stick together or they are going to perish in some time. So similar pattern is being applied, as sir mentioned. They check for the technicality, they check for the business. They don't care, I mean like this is going to sustain, but how confident these individuals are. So that's why the percentage that gets shortlisted at the top level is very bleak. Very less number of people make at that level. So we also need to come up with certain strategies where we get the best of the best lot so that we can produce the best entrepreneurs from our country. And you all sitting here are the best of the best ecosystem. And we have the power to do such job. Only thing is that we need to take that efforts. I remember one of the story, long time ago, there was an auction happening somewhere. Lot of beautiful items were placed in that particular auction. There were jewels, jewelry, gems, diamonds, and antique pieces as well. Slowly, gradually, each and every piece started going off. I mean, the bid started and things were getting sold. There was one red guitar which was also placed in that bid. The cost of the guitar was $5. That was the least amount quoted for that guitar. The guitar was in broken shape. The strings were broken. It was completely dusted. And people did not even bother to look at that guitar. They didn't want it to buy. I mean, like, who will bid for such a ugly looking guitar, and that too in broken? So one gentleman walked in and he said that, I want to take this guitar. They said, okay, fine. As the crowd were there for the bidding, they slowly started walking out. This gentleman nicely cleaned that guitar. The strings which were broken, he tied those strings and started playing the music. The entire room was filled with such a melodious music. People who were there, who were walking out, they slowly started coming back. Because this gentleman was able to identify the worth of that particular guitar, which nobody noticed. Again, they put this guitar back into the bidding, and that was sold for the highest price for that particular day. Right? So you need to identify the best of the best lot. You will get a lot of applications. You reject. Sometimes they go back and do better. We ask them, okay, no, nahi chalega. But are we seriously working with these startups? Are we really genuinely taking interest in these startups? How much efforts we put? How much support we provide? I have been part of a couple of panel discussions. So one of the, I don't want to name where exactly this was. So one boy was just presenting his case. It was a pitch presentation. He presented his case, and there were a lot of people who were there in the panel. So one person was really rude. I mean, like, this is not going to work. Stop it. No, nahi chalega. Na, band karo, band karo. Like, that's really mean, so rude. I mean, if you straight away shoo away that person, where he's going to end up? He has spent close to 10 years building that product. At least have a look. Because you did not identify the worth of that particular product, that doesn't mean it's not valuable, right? You need to have those eyes to go through that particular lens and check, is it going to work or not? Support them, but do not demotivate people. That should be the last resort. You can tell them, okay, this might not work, but can we not try this way, right? So we are talking about quality. What is quality? Creating quality. I'll come back to you guys only. Sir, you're smiling again.
Again, the classic definition is conformance to requirements.
Yes. Anything more? Yes, sir.
Whatever conformance has to be done, whatever is desired, meeting those things, or how closely meeting those things.
Okay. How closely you can meet the requirements, okay. Anything else? Yes, sir. Nice suit.
So basically, I try to say that a startup is primarily a business idea.
Yes.
So if you don't get the business part straight, then it remains an engineering experiment. And that is where we would try to steer them towards the commercial success.
The parameters that you have kept for the
4 slides.
4 slides. Okay.
First is who will buy,
Who will buy?
why they will buy,
Why they will buy?
what
Where you are going to sell it? And
what options they have.
options they have. Okay.
And if these questions are answered, then we move on to the remaining part. And then we work backwards to cost and to other things.
Yeah.
But the first thing is there a market for this?
Is there a market? Absolutely.
And that comes from the statement that a startup is primarily a business idea.
Correct. Because they do not get the right direction. They do not go and check the market need directly. People are so attached to their product. It's my baby. Because I made it, it's going to be the best in the world, right? मेरा बच्चा सबसे खूबसूरत, right? सब जितनी माताएं यहाँ बैठी हैं, जितनी बहनें यहाँ बैठी हैं, they'll tell, okay, my baby is the best, right? If you ask to compare. But when we are talking about product, can we be emotional with the product? Do we need to be emotional? Get emotional. हम लोग We keep telling people, don't get emotional with your product. If you're getting any feedback, don't take it to your heart. This is for your betterment, this is for your good. Ji sir.
Madam, I personally feel that the product can be better from the previous one. And
Absolutely.
It should be product, what we call providing service at assured level is far most important than what we cannot say is better
बिल्कुल
product.
सर, तो वर्जन हो सकते हैं because we
Maybe
tell that
it
okay
has to be
इसका
better
अगला
from the previous version.
right पहला जो बना है उससे बेहतर
And
और
it can-
बेहतर और बेहतर. So
And moreover, it should
keep
be
improving.
sustainable for long period so that there will be less competition. We are talking about startup. I think what we start today, that startup may excel after 2 years, 3 years. We need to think of future.
Yes.
And we need to support those startups which can sustain for long run. I feel
Absolutely.
that.
Sustainability is very important. नहीं तो कहाँ जाएंगे हम, right? These are some of the questions. Sir ने कुछ questions बताए. Some of the questions that you can add when you're dissecting the startup. The word dissect I use because we literally butcher the startup. हम बहुत बुरी तरीके से कत्ल करते हैं, right? We are preparing them for the best or the worst for tomorrow, but that doesn't mean क्योंकि today we are working with such a young generation or आज की generation, they want Maggie in 2 minutes. They don't have this much of time. So you need to have patience to work with these individuals. You need to understand their thought process and ideology, what exactly they want. What kind of mentoring style you have? किस टाइप की mentoring करते हैं आप लोग? Is mentoring happening religiously? Do we do the right mentor and mentee match? Or just because we want to fill up the Excel sheet and do the check box, we just fill in that? Do we really do? Because I have observed this at several places. किसी को भी बिठा दिया, okay, just have a discussion, ठीक है यार कर ले, हो जाएगा. No. Please don't do that. If you do not have the expertise, bring in someone who can add value rather than just क्योंकि you're playing with someone's career. उस बेचारे ने या बेचारी ने अपनी पूरी